Ever wonder what happens to actors after they spend a decade battling for the fate of Westeros? Kit Harington, the man who became Jon Snow, recently opened up about his future, and it might surprise you. Before we dive in, be sure to subscribe and hit that like button. Uh, Harington has swapped his sword for spells. He's now lending his voice um, to the magical world of Harry Potter, narrating the audiobook of Chamber of Secrets. Um, he's playing the wonderfully vain Gilderoy Lockhart. Uh, very, but the big question remains: would he ever revisit the icy landscapes of Game of Thrones? The answer, it seems, is a firm no, Octor. Harrington stated, no, God, no. I don't want to go anywhere near it. I spent 10 years doing that. Um, thanks, I'm all right. That's pretty definitive, isn't it? Jon Snow's story was one of constant burden. From a supposed bastard to a leader of the Night's Watch, then resurrected and forced to make impossible choices, he carried the weight of the world. In the end, he chose exile, riding north with Ghost, seeking peace beyond the reach of power. It's a stark contrast to reports from 2022 about a potential Jon Snow spin-off series with Harington involved. Even George R. Martin discussed continuing the story, but it appears that chapter is closed and likely to stay that way. Harington isn't abandoning fantasy altogether, and he's clearly enjoying the lighter side, describing Lockhart as a lovely, little, entertaining, tragic, comical character. It's a refreshing change of pace after years of battling White Walkers. The role has given him a newfound appreciation for voice acting and a gentler kind of magic. He's found a way to embrace the absurdity rather than die for it. So while we might not see Jon Snow on screen again, we can still hear Kit Harington weaving magic in other worlds. But don't worry, he's probably glad to be trading and is brooding for a bit of laughter. The Game of Thrones universe is still expanding. Season 3 of House of the Dragon is coming. And a new series, A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, is set to premiere in 2026. And there's still plenty of Westeros to explore. Speaking of exploring, do you know why Jon Snow always carried a ladder? Because he heard the Night's Watch had high standards. Because with that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.